College football has so many classic rivalry games that everyone gets excited for. The game between Michigan and Ohio State, the Iron Bowl between Alabama and Auburn, clean old-fashioned hate between Georgia Tech, the Sunshine Showdown between Florida and Florida State. There are so many to pick from that it's hard and you sleep on so many of them. But there's one that's been slept on by so many people. Why? Because it happens at the FCS level, and that's the Brawl of the Wild. Two teams that represent the state of Montana go to war every single year, and it's been that way since 1897. And these teams aren't, buddies after the game. No, from the moment that ball is kicked off to the end of the game, and even when you're traveling back home to your campus, there is nothing but hate between those two sides. It's a game that divides the state in half, divides families in half, divides everybody who has Montana blood in half. It's either are you a cat or are you a Grizz? And this Saturday, we see them brawl one more time. The Montana State Brawl of the Wild series has been going on since 1897, as I said in the intro. In the first game, the Grizz won 18-6 and would win the first three installments of the game, with the Bobcats scoring a grand total of 6 points during those first three games. The all-time record in the rivalry is Montana 74, Montana State 43, and 5 ties. It's been very impressive to see how long the series has lasted, considering that this game happened first 2 centuries ago, really. 1898 is more than 100 years on this day in 2025 that I'm currently recording this at, but the hatred still remains. As you see on the screen, I'm showcasing an old 1898 Grizzlies football team photo. Now, this wasn't even during the first game, but it was the oldest photo I could find of either side for the rivalry. And I just look at this here and I just think, wow, how long has this been going on? We don't see shoulder pads. We don't see helmets. We see a old football, and we also don't really see a good photo. It's black and white, and it looks really damaged due to time. That's just something really cool about this rivalry, is that we can trace it all the way back to the 1800s, and we actually have a photographic footage of the Montana Grizzlies team that would have played the Montana State Bobcats. Now, just like every rivalry game, teams have had their hot runs that they've dominated the rivalry, but nothing has been more dominant than the Montana Grizzlies winning 16 straight, stretching from 1986 all the way to 2001. The Grizzlies dominated the Bobcats every single year. It's honestly impressive looking back on it. As we look at the first score of the 1986 game was 59-28. And as we continue, you just see the Grizz and the Bobcats were just playing on two different levels. They dominated year in, year out, with occasional close matchups. But until 2002, Montana State did not win a game in the rivalry, which had to really hurt Bobcat Nation. As we look at this is not like a lot of college rivalries where a team can still go on and have a great season. This is not like Michigan-Ohio State we saw last year, where Ohio State can go on and win national championship after losing to Michigan. Montana State was down in the dumps during that stretch. And here's the thing. The Grizz were one of the best teams in college football for the FCS level. In order to go to the top of the mountain, you had to beat the Grizz. And the Cats just couldn't for the longest time. Until 2002, which is when we really start to see the Montana State program start to turn it around. Because since 2002, the Grizzlies and Bobcats have split the games. They have gone 11-11, only missing the 2020 season against each other due to unforeseen circumstances that really affected sports as a whole and humanity as a whole that year. The Cats and Grizz go back and forth, as the Grizz had won 3 straight from 2013 and 2015, followed by Montana State winning the next 4 games in that series. Now, in the record books, it would show the Cats have the advantage during the stretch due to vacated wins by the Grizzlies during the 2011 season. But looking at this as a whole, you don't really care about that. You don't care that the win is vacated or not. You care that you saw your team lose to your biggest rival. That's how Cats fans view it. So looking at this during the stretch, these two teams have been evenly matched. Now, with every rivalry series, there's always that one generation-defining game. Certain games come in the 70s and 80s that people grow up idolizing, remembering, just having fond memories of. 90s, 2000s, you see those games memorized for those fans that grew up in that time. And then you have me. I'm Gen Z. I'm from Billings, Montana, and I grew up with one game that really cements itself to me as the defining game of my generation. The Miracle in Missoula, as Montana State came back, trailing the Grizzlies, came back in the fourth quarter to take the lead. And then the Grizzlies got all the way down to the 2-yard line. So what happened? A miracle happened, as here is the call from Bobcats Radio.
What is the running back? Sneed, the quarterback, goes out of the shotgun. Bobcat defensive front, banks of pressure, and he's down at the 1. He comes loose. They fumbled it, and the Bobcats get it. The Bobcats win the game. It's a fumble at the goal line by Montana. A penalty flag thrown as the Bobcats spill onto the field. The Bobcats again get the goal line stand.
Rolling on the field is a fumble recovered by Montana State. First down.
Montana State, for the 3rd year in a row, has won the Brawl of the Wild.
That is a moment in time. I remember exactly what I was doing when that play happened. I remember my reaction when it happened. I remember my phone ringing 5 seconds after that play happened, getting a call from my dad as we're screaming on the phone, not fully comprehending what we just saw, but living in the moment, living in that moment in time. No matter what side of the rivalry you're on, you remember that moment. Whether you were filled with jubilation as Montana State completes an amazing comeback and wins the Brawl of the Wild, or if you're a Grizz fan that saw your team blow the lead and then lose in heartbreaking fashion on the 1-yard line. That's what makes rivalry games so special, is it doesn't matter what side you're on. You have so much emotion built up in the game. You want to see your team win. You want to be able to call your buddies and say, hey, my team beat your team. In that moment, that miracle in Missoula defined the Brawl of the Wild. Two teams hungry to beat each other, wanting to do everything in their power to win, and it comes down to one single play in one spot in time. I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you hit the like button, I'd appreciate it. If you hit the subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. Share this, tell your friends, and get ready for the 2025 Brawl of the Wild.